Hey everyone, it's Miss Nina Monique, host of the Corporate Rebel podcast. So excited to be bringing back this podcast with two new co-hosts, Miss Terretta Lusk and Mr. Landon Waring. It's real conversation with real people. All right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Corporate Rebel podcast. This is a very special episode that we're doing today. I am your host, Nina Monique, and I am joined by my co hosts, Teretta Lusk and Landon Waring. Hi, Teretta. Hi, Landon. And today we have two special guests, CJ Matthews and Miss Kristen Wright Matthews. Mother and son, they have a nonprofit called Blankies For My Buddies. And we're going to learn more about their nonprofit. It's a special cause. I love what it stands for and just about helping people and bringing a bond with family when they're going through something, a situation that's serious, and how when you come together, you could do something that have purpose to help other people as well. So I'm going to jump right into the interview. So, CJ, can you tell us a little bit about Blankies for My Buddies?
So Blankies For My Buddies was an organization I started when I was 5 after my mother experienced a pregnancy loss. Um, and it's basically a way of, it's basically a code method for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I love, I read the book that you have. It was a great book. I really enjoyed it. Can you tell everyone about your book?
So my book, and then there's one, um, is my backstory in a way. Basically how I told you my mother experienced a pregnancy loss.
Mm-hmm.
How I had a hard time coping with it. Basically how my organization started.
Okay. Teretta, Landon, any questions?
Um, I read the book as well, and it was actually surprising when we kind of got the overview of, hey, we were going to bring them onto the podcast or bring you guys on the podcast. I was like, definitely bring them on. I didn't know that was like reading the book and everything like that, because I actually experienced such a loss actually recently myself. So it really impacted me a lot more than I thought that it would, reading it, and it brought up a lot of memories, and I was just like, okay, yeah, we definitely need to get them on here. Um, so with Blankets for Buddies.
Blankies For My Buddies.
Okay, Blankets for Buddies. Sorry about that. How has that allowed you to? I understand you said that you cope with it, but how has that kind of, put you into a realm mentally to get through everything that you're dealing with? I know you said coping, but can you elaborate a little bit on exactly what that has done kind of for you?
Blankies For My Buddies is really Blankies For My Buddies is like really I can't explain it, but like every time, usually when we're like donating or anything, I don't really get to see like the people that I'm donating to. But recently, when we visited South Carolina not too long ago, we had like a little bit of a workshop, and so I actually got to see the kids that I was like working with, and just seeing all their faces, like their smiles and everything, that like, made me feel good.
Yeah, and it was a grief organization, kids who had dealt with grief at some point in their lives. And he was able to lead a blanket workshop and tell them about his story.
Nice.
Very nice. Toretta?
I wish you were around when I was coming up. I said that early on, because not only are you speaking to kids? You're speaking to adults as well.
Mhm.
I'm going to piggyback a little bit off of Landon because it brought up memories for me. I lost a child, and it was one of the most challenging times in my life. And I wish I had
Mhm.
a CJ, even in my adult life. Had I heard that you did something like this, I would have ran out and got the book, because when you're hurting, you're reaching for everything to kind of help soothe that pain. So my hat and my wig go off to you because, because that is an awesome responsibility that you have. And you
Mhm.
take it with such maturity. I'm not even sure me in my groans state can handle it as maturely as you are. There's no question in this. It is just my observation on keep doing what you're doing, because your audience is not just kids.
Mhm.
You have a wide range, and me being one of them. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep listening. I'm gonna have some questions for you. But me and my wig right now, we kind of going through something. So just roll with it, sister, okay?
We got you.
One of the things that Terretta mentioned, a word that she mentioned, responsibilities. CJ, with you, you mentioned when we was recording before that you're currently 14 years old and you're going on 15. With the responsibilities that you have with your nonprofit, and it being such a I want to say the right word. I think it's purposeful nonprofit. What do you do to enjoy your youth, to take your mind off of some of the things and just to enjoy, your youth? What do you like to do?
Um, Play video games, sports, and just like lay around.
Mhm.
Nothing.
That's the life. I like that one. Landon, I saw you shaking your head when you said video games.
Yeah, I mean, I'm heavy in video games.
You
Or
understand, like when you having a bad day, you get on the game, and like
see,
get worse.
I can't, because if I'm having a bad day, it's probably going to translate to me playing bad on 2K or Call of Duty, and then all my friends are yelling at me. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get off because
Oh, that's his game, Call of Duty.
I can't do
CJ, you done met another kid, right?
He's got a daddy in the house that plays with him
and it's a struggle. CJ knows. I finally have, a male to male bond. With Nina and Terretta, I don't really have that as much. So I appreciate you really coming on and relieving me of some of the stress that I have to deal with on a day to day working with these two.
He love us though. What would he do without us? And Kristen, the same question for you. Being a mom, having a nonprofit, a successful nonprofit, and interacting with other adults and children who's going through situations similar to yours or different. What do you do for self-care? Because I know as a mom, being a mom is priority, and I know that's work. And then you have your nonprofit, and then I believe you also have a publishing company.
I have a public relations company. So
Okay.
I just actually recently got back into doing PR for the past several years. I had only been working with my own family and just focusing on us
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
over the years. You work and you put your energy, when you're in a creative field, you put your energy into other people. And I feel like we deserve to share our story because other people need to hear our story. You know, just to shed light and inspire them to be able to, like we say, we turned our test into a testimony, and that's our journey. Is we want to help other people to find purpose in their testimony, and that's our journey. Is we want to help other people to find purpose in their pain. But so in terms of my personal, I don't have much of that personal time. So I love to read, but I can't tell you the last time I read a book. I don't have a village of women or friends here in Atlanta. So it's pretty much me and my family. I find my peace and my happiness in my family. I just kind of really just focus on them. I've got sisters and brothers. I talk to my sisters and my cousins on the phone all the time. But that's pretty much it. You know, I try every now and then to take a bath or something, you know, you know, they're just running and jumping in the shower and things like that. So I try to find my, you know, even if it's just sitting in the car for a little bit extra when I pull in the garage and I'm by myself. So I do try to, you know, have a little bit of time alone, but mainly the nonprofit. I mean, it's really like, it brings me so much joy to do what we do, you know.
Yeah.
I could do it all day long.
Yeah.
I could do it all day long. My husband has to tell me, turn the computer off, it's time to go to bed, you know.
Yeah.
You know, get off the computer, you need to walk a little bit, you need to rest your eyes, you know, but I just find so much love and enjoyment in what we do, you know. I mean, I could do it all day. You know, and take care of my kids. I cook for them every day, and that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted this life to be a mom for so long, you know, so.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Hearing you speak that way reminds me of a lot of the conversations I had with my mom. And she pretty much said the same thing, because I would ask her, you're doing so much for everyone else. When are you going to do something for you? And she always say, I find joy. I have joy in doing things for other people. And then she'll say, you, my daughter, we spend time together. We talk. That's like my happiness right there.
Right.
So I applaud you. This is the second time we met, but the first time when you joined the interview, I was like, this is my mom I'm talking to. I'm gonna love this interview. So I enjoy, you know, speaking with you. And the next question I have for you is, what's next for you? You know, with you and CJ, with the nonprofit, where do you want it to go? Where do you see it going?
So I see us going really far with this. I mean, I put a lot of time and energy, mostly research. We come up with ideas. The kids tell me things that they want to do, and I spend all the time that I have just really trying to think of ways for us to be able to execute some ideas we have. You know, they're both in the sports. So on August 6th, we have every year we have a game called the Giving Bowl that CJ created when he was 10 years old. And he can tell you a little bit more about it. But coming up on August 6th, we have a game, back to school event. And so we have partners that are helping us, and we're calling it a good back to school kickoff. So it's basically a football game And then families can drive through and get groceries, backpacks, school supplies, hygiene products, anything a kid needs, to get to start school. And then at the end of the year, we do the Giving Bowl, which is his baby. So I'll let him tell you about that, and then I'll go back and tell you about some of the other things we have going on.
Okay. Tell us about it, CJ. I love it. I love hearing stuff like this.
So the Giving Bowl is a 7-on-7 flag football game. And while we're playing, we're like collecting food, blankets and things for the winter. And also while we're playing, people are driving by and like picking up food for the holidays.
Yeah. So, we don't just do blankets. I like to incorporate everything that my kids like into this program because it's their legacy and it's something that I want them to want to do. So while we search for degrees, because that's where we started, we also like to just focus on things that make people's load lighter. So, we know families need school supplies. We know that kids love to play football, and he has a cycling event that we started. Next year we're going to do a big cycling event, and so we like to incorporate the things that they love into this whole organization. So we have so many ideas. If you guys saw the notes that we keep on the things that we want to do, but the main focus, with them both, Colin's 6, and then we have CJ who's 14. They're Giving Tuesday leaders, youth leaders, and so their goal in what they do is to inspire other kids to give back. And so their main you can give doing something you love. So you could be riding your bike, like last year for Giving Tuesday, he did Ride with CJ. Hashtag Ride with CJ. And that was because that was in honor of kids who have in honor of kids who lost their life to gun violence. So he got kids all around the world to ride their bikes with CJ, and it was just for them to take a stand, against gun violence. And so we have the Giving Bowl. We're working on, we've turned it into a business. We've been charity for 10 years, but now he created the blanket box. We're working on our own line of blankets. We have the book. And then there was one, and then he can tell you about the second book. And then we have a series of books that we want to create with both of the boys called The Good Brothers. And I don't want to give you guys too much about it, but we want to do a series, The Good Brothers, and incorporate other kids who are doing good things around the world.
I love this. Talk about building a legacy. This is one thing that Terretta always talk about, legacy.
That's so important, The world is just not what it was when we were younger. You can't just go to school, get a degree, and get a job, and find your happily ever after. It's so competitive. They have to have skills, and they have to have. You almost have to, because everything's so expensive and it's not getting cheaper. You have to prepare your kids. You have to teach them early. How to get it. And because things have come to them so easily, I don't want to say that they all don't have it, but some of them don't, because things have been given to them, or, like we didn't have all the internet and the computer. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a little easier for them. And so some of them don't have the grit.
Right.
And so for me and my husband, it was just really important to instill the grit in our kids, to learn how to start their own businesses and things like that when they're young.
Yep.
Because they might not, they might you just never know the way life is going. You know, you don't even have to go to college to be successful anymore. You can get on YouTube and you know, I'm a journalist. I went to college, I have a degree in journalism, and you know what I'm saying? You don't just do that anymore. You know, so they have real tangible skills, you know, to be able to compete in the world the way that it is now, and it's not going to get any easier.
Right. Yeah, those are topics that Landon, Terretta, and myself, when we have our talks, those are topics that Landon, Terretta, and myself, when we have our talks, those are topics that we always talk about. And you're right, it's completely different than when we was growing up. Sometimes I look at the internet, Instagram, and Facebook, and I'm like, wow, like they really have it different than how we had it. Like you said, that grit, you know, we was told, go to school, get a degree, get in corporate America, get your benefits, build your home, get married, have kids. That's how you're going to support yourself. And now it's like, it's completely different. I'm going to start a page on Instagram. I'm going to do TikToks. I'm going to get more than 1 million views, get paid. And, you know, then the next thing you know, you see them on BET hosting shows and everything. So I agree with you. I totally do.
Some ways it's easier, but some ways it's harder, you know. So, you know, they have to be equipped with whatever we can give them, you know, to succeed.
I agree. Terretta, Landon, any comments?
I'm just kind of curious about something. And not to take the spotlight off of Mr. CJ, I'll be back. But are you guys doing anything collectively as a family? Do you guys have any things going collectively as a family?
Everything we do.
Everything, even is okay. Like CJ got his thing. I know that's family. You know, it's a lot of you guys are together, but do you guys have a collaboration? Like I noticed you said you have another son. So as a collective, do you guys have one mission that you guys come together to do? Just focused as, I mean, I know you guys are the family with all of it. I'm just saying, is there other things that you guys doing as a family unit? You know, out there, like he's doing the blankets and all that stuff. Are you guys doing anything as a family to do something like that, other than what the kids are doing?
No, not really. I mean, it's grown, you know, it started as something that was just to help CJ. And then it just naturally has progressed into our family business, you know, and I mean, it's just, you know, I even get inspired myself, you know, because we lost our baby Carson, but 6 months before that, we lost another baby, and then now we have Colin, who's 6, and I conceived him at 42 years old, you know, and so now he's a part of it. We used to roll him around when CJ was we would put him in the wagon and we go deliver blankets, and he was in there, and now he has the same spirit. And so whenever he sees CJ doing interviews and stuff, he gets mad, and you know, he wants to know why I'm not saying his name, and you know, he's like, well, I want to do something. And so last year in December, like November, December, he had a sock drive, and he collected enough money to buy 200 socks, and we took them to an orphanage, and he donated them. And then he had his own interview. And then a couple of months after that, Giving Tuesday saw the work that he was doing. They said, hey, you know, Colin is doing so much stuff on his own. You know, he should be a sparkly himself.
That's what I'm talking about. That right there. Entrepreneurship spirit in your family.
You know, so it's just been a natural progression for us. You know, we never thought we would turn Blankies For My Buddies into a business, you know, but the business is going to help us to give back more, you know. So, you know, Colin just told me the other day, I'm gonna create blanket socks, you know. So we have to figure out, well, how are we gonna come up with blanket socks, you know? So I mean, I know we can just do fuzzy cozy socks, but he said blanket socks, you know. So that's what my thing consists of a lot, is trying to, you know, materialize some of the things that the boys come up with. You know, blankets are going to be empowering. You know, we'll just have regular throws and stuff like that. But, you know, when CJ had that vision, he wanted those blankets to be empowering, you know. So I'm not going to say what they are out loud, but think about something that a child would throw around their shoulders that would make them feel like, I can do this, you know?
Yes.
So we just have fun with it as a family. I mean, we'll just be sitting, we have a conversation about the business or the nonprofit. I don't even want to say every day, like all day, you know. My husband, he was an athlete, and he trains and stuff like that. So he helps the boys, you know, with the giving ball is really his thing. He loves that. And all the sports stuff. He's the one that started cycling, and then CJ found a love for that during COVID. And, you know, so everybody I handle most of the business and, of course, the writing and stuff like that. But creatively, we all come together. And, you know, just this is what we're going to be doing. We love it.
One thing you mentioned previously is you mentioned how much you just love to do what you're doing. And you said that you could be up all night just, you know, working on Blankies For My Buddies or any of your nonprofits. And it reminded me of a saying that Chris Rock said on one of his stand-up comedies, is that when you love what you're doing, there's never enough hours in a day.
Right.
But when you're
working.
Yes. And when you're doing something that you don't like, it's like time just moves so slow. So it's while I'm listening to you, I'm getting inspired, because that's what I always wanted to do, find something where I can help people. And I think I found it working with Terretta and Landon. So just listening to you, it's inspiring, and it's just getting me back into the motion of, you know, just wanting to get back out there and do what I do to help people, talk to people, and to put a smile on people's face, because you never know how your experience can help someone else, you know.
It's so fulfilling, you know. I've been doing PR since I was 18 years old, and I've had some success in it, and but you know, whenever, for example, when there was a budget cut or people didn't, you know, whenever they were run out of money, it was always the publicity, like the most important part. You're gonna drop the marketing, you know. So, you know, I've had success anywhere I made a lot of money, but I've also had times where it was like I was working for free, or just, you know, just trying to stay relevant, you know, and just helping people. And that's just something my mom and my dad, they are givers, and I think I kind of inherited that from them. And regardless, I would just do it, you know, but it wasn't always easy. The Blankies For My Buddies has been the easiest project I've ever worked on in my life. You know, we don't do it for the publicity of it, but my son is the first person I ever got on Good Morning America.
Wow.
So, you know, it's just so easy, you know, it's because we love it, you know, and I haven't had to fight for anything. God, God gives you, and He gives you purpose.
That's right.
Nobody can tell you no. When He says yes,
right.
nobody can tell you no. And
take us to church up in here. Take us to
church. So going back real quick to something that you guys have touched on, this, I think Nina said support. A lot of this is very inspirational for me because it's not something that personally I was able to grow up with. And I wanted that. I wanted my parents, not so much that they didn't support, but I wanted them, I felt like they could have been more involved to kind of push to the next level. And I love being able to see that you are there in the grind with your family on a day-to-day basis. Like, if this is what you want to do,
yeah,
you are there in the grind with your family on a day-to-day basis. Like, if this is what you want to do,
yeah,
this is what you're going to do. And I'm going to help you hand in hand get there. So my question, and I guess this is for either one of you, the Giving Bowl, how do you get an invite to that? We talk about sports. We talk about athletes. I will buy a ticket to come play some football.
So it's mainly kids that play. The kids play, the adults coach. But I mean, we would love to have you here, right, CJ? We would love to have you here. We're trying to plan some big things this year, have some special guests and stuff to come and inspire the kids. So we would love to have you here if you want to come. And we haven't solidified the date, but we're thinking right now we have it penciled in as the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sunday. Okay, so if you're not playing football, do you guys have enough space for some grown women to be trying to be cheerleaders out there for the team?
You can be cheerleaders. You can help us pack trunks to feed the community.
Okay.
You can collect blankets. Normally what people drive through and they collect blankets, or they come pick up a box of food, like CJ said, for the holidays.
Okay.
So we work with a food bank, and we have some other community partners that come and contribute. So it's really, it's an amazing event. Our best one was one we didn't even play football. Right. That was 2020, and CJ was on CBS National News. Tell them what your theme was.
Kindness has not been canceled.
Kindness has not been canceled.
I love it. Wait a minute. Can I steal that? Can I steal that, CJ? I just want to know, you ain't got no copyrights on it on that yet. I mean, okay, I'm going to steal that. You gotta just say that crazy lady that interviewed you stole it. That's all you got to say. They'll know it's me.
There is such a poise in a maturity within you, CJ, and a lot of teenagers your age just don't have that. So who would you say is responsible for coming? Are these ideas and these phrases and stuff coming out of your mind, or is that like the environment of what you're brought into, or like where are you coming up with these ideas?
So a lot, like me and my mom, we work together on a lot of the stuff we do. Like I'll say the idea, she writes it out, I say what she writes it out, I'll say like, dang, I just had it.
I develop it. It's basically
it's all me.
He says it, and sometimes he doesn't say it with the most confidence, but I'm a 70s baby. I make it happen. Whatever my babies say they want to do, I make it happen.
That's right.
So, yeah. Just
That's
like those blanket socks. Y'all gonna see them blanket socks in the store. You want to say, she said she was gonna make that.
Then that's when I ask the clerk, do you have them in the grown people section? Do you have them in the grown? See, I keep saying his audience is wide. I know I'm saying it funny, but he is really reaching the world. Okay. And that's not to be taken lightly. Not everybody who has a vision,
Yep.
okay, can touch the world. And so we sit here, and I know we can be comical and we're or having a serious conversation, but CJ, I know you're 14 at this time, going on 15.
Going on 15. Oh, we were waiting for that.
You know, but you are literally touching the world. There is no just touching this area over here. You have such a wide range. And for you to be as young as you are, I can only imagine 5-10 years from now where you're going to be. All I'm going to ask right now is let's get familiar. I'm going to be real close to your mom and see if I can get along. Because you're going to be making but touching the world at the same time. There's that word for me, purpose.
That's the important part. That's the important part. You know? Who you can inspire, how many people you can inspire. You know, and that's what I tell them. You know, you guys are doing great things, but you're touching people, and that's the most important thing you can ever do is to share your gift with others.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reassurance, that is, you know, so important, because having your own business is a lot of work, and at times you might, you know, have those moments where you feel discouraged. And it's nothing like having your mom, especially as Landon was saying, you know, that support to remind you that what you're doing is important and you're making people happy, and, you know, never lose that spark. So, you know, just continue, CJ, and Kristen, you keep doing your thing too, because I love it all.
We love you all. We appreciate you for having us here, and you know, for it takes a village, you know. So all the words that you all have said to my son, you know, I hope he's really listening to it, and
he's listening.
Much he inspires people, you know, because at this age, you know, teenagers, you know, it can be kind of difficult, you know, but I hope he really, really understands. And my husband tell him all, and I tell him all the time, you know, we really hope you understand. What's the saying? What's the saying we always tell you? Which one? With great responsibility. With power comes great responsibility.
Now you're talking about
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially when your gift has made room for you, that is a spiritual principle. And that's why I so much value the word purpose, you know, because you're on purpose, where everything that you're doing is on purpose. And so that alone speaks volumes. It really does. I mean, I will always remember you, because you touched my life in such a way that if I ever find myself going through a grieving period, as my colleagues know, we're just going through something like that. We lost a colleague, and we'll be honoring her over the weekend, you know, and just listening to CJ really kind of help balance me, so that when I go, I will be more encouraging, more uplifting, opposed to the sadness. you know, because it is about empowering people. I love how he turned pain into purpose. And I think that speaks to all of us that we can always, always be empowering to other people.
Mhm.
So you continue to do what you do, young man, and let me have that hair when you finish, because you know I'll be
You guys want to meet Colin? He's trying to peek in to see.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hi.
Come on.
Ah, look at yeah. That's right.
Okay. Everybody got hair on. All right.
And how are you?
Good.
You're good.
Aw.
And your name is? Can you tell us your name?
My name is Colin Matthews.
That's
Okay,
right.
hold
And
on.
how old are you?
6.
6.
So your whole family talk like a bunch of 30-year-olds. Okay.
This one back. He asked girl.
I love this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
Well,
too.
CJ, you know.
Girl.
I love this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
Well,
too.
CJ, you know we're going to have you guys back on again at a future date, right? Because we gotta follow you. You're doing big things. This is
Mhm.
just the beginning.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So we've got a lot coming up. We've got a lot going on. Our heavy months are October and November. October is pregnancy loss awareness month. And then in November, there's children's grief awareness. So we've got a lot going on. CJ recently, you can go. Okay, recently gifted Nick Cannon one of his blanket boxes. He and Nick was so touched that he wanted to get behind us, and so we are actually helping him and his one of his significant others to build their nonprofit, which is called Zen's Light, in honor of the baby we lost in December. Yeah, and so we haven't worked out the details of that yet, but we will be doing something with Blankies For My Buddies to benefit kids with pediatric cancer.
Oh wow. You
Yeah.
speak of my language. I'm sorry. I'm a cancer survivor. So for you to say that, I'm talking, I thought I couldn't light up no more. You're doing some great things. You
feel
guys
like
are really
I
doing
wish
great.
I would have grown up in Matthews.
I know.
I feel like I've been slighted in life. Like I don't know what's going on right now.
But you guys got to stay connected with us. We want to absolutely help you celebrate your journey and be there when we can and interview you and help get you out there, because you're such a blessing to the world. I'm telling you, got me fired up. Just like
we'll add you to our list, and everything we do, we'll let you all know. And if you guys want us to come on, we most certainly will. So mix it up.
Absolutely.
Or you might get the daddy or my mom
we'll connect the dad with Landon. They're both sports.
He would love to get on the interview and talk.
And CJ.
And whenever you out in Cali, you have to let us know too, Kristen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were supposed to be heading out there at the end of the month, but that's not gonna work out. So we're gonna postpone that for a while. So I don't know exactly when we're gonna come, but by the year's end, I hope you're there. Okay. And we will definitely let you know.
What part of Cali when you guys do come out?
I am from 77th and Normandy.
Oh, wow.
That's where I was born and raised. Well, I wasn't born. I was born I told them before, but I was born in Centinela Hospital. I was when I can't remember this street, but my parents lived somewhere near Centinela Hospital when I was a baby. But then when I was maybe 2, we moved to 77th and Normandy. I lived there until I left California in 2004. Well, pretty much lived there. I mean, I went off to college and, moved out a couple of times, but I kept finding my way back home. I kept finding my way back over there. And then my parents ultimately moved to South Carolina then. And then maybe about a year later, I decided to stay with them for about 6 months. And then I was going to go to Atlanta. But I ended up in South Carolina for 12 years. And that's where I met my husband and gave birth to CJ. Mm-hmm. And we've been in Atlanta 7 years now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I have to visit Atlanta. I hear so many wonderful things about it. And as I told you before, I was born in Georgia, so I have to go back to my hometown to see what it's like.
Well, it's turning into a mini California. I heard 65,000 people just moved here in the last 6 or 9 months or something. I think it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
So never matched LA traffic, but it is very similar because in that it's smaller. Mm-hmm. So the traffic in Atlanta is very crazy, but you would like it. I mean, it's like little Hollywood here. Now, I'm sure you will know thousands of people here.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's cheaper to film here, so a lot of studios are here now, and I mean, I know so many people who have moved recently for the industry. Mm-hmm. So I want to be as far away from that as possible. This is what I do now. I do philanthropy.
That's a great field to be in. Isn't that where Tyler Perry's studio is these days? Well, yes. Is that where he built it at out there somewhere?
Yeah. East Point, yeah. Fort McPherson. He bought an Army base.
Wow. Okay.
Right? Yeah, we used to live not even 10 minutes away from it, but we moved out to that was in we used to live in the College Park area.
Okay.
And so we're in a city called McDonough now, and actually Shaq is our neighbor now. Shaq lives out here in McDonough. So a lot of people are moving to the Atlanta area.
Okay.
I mean, he's not our next door neighbor. I'm just saying he lives in the city.
You must have seen our minds moving.
No.
Wow.
And his ex-wife, Johnny, went to St. Mary's right on the street.
Yes, I've heard of. Yep.
Yeah, she was a year behind me in high school.
Oh, nice.
I'm sorry, who was that?
His ex-wife.
His first wife, Johnny.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Yeah. So, Kristen, I have one more question for you. Is there a way for whoever will be listening, is there a way they can get involved with helping you, get materials that you need for your nonprofits when you do your giveaways or your events? Is there any way people can get involved?
So we have everything. We have PayPal, we have Venmo, we have Cash App, and it's all at Blankies For My Buddies, the $ Blankies For My Buddies, and we have paypal.me/Blankies For My Buddies. But you should be able to find most of that info on our website, which is blankiesformybuddies.org.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or just send us an email at blankiesformybuddies@gmail.com. because we love to have the physical help sometimes and not just the donations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with children, especially with youth. We want more youth to get involved, because we can get grants and things like that. And, like I actually just got a grant from one of my high school classmates. I can't say her name because she just donates all the time. And she gave us $3,500.
Look at CJ.
Please be quiet, son. That's in here. He's like, shoot, it's fair game now. I don't have to be quiet no more. That's right. It's crazy. Okay, so you're gonna have to cut this part out. But yeah, come on back.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So.
I could just so you guys don't have to post this, but yeah, we're gonna do a Uvalde project. So we're gonna send a donation of blankets to the families of the kids who were affected by the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's
Oh,
what one of the kids is working on.
okay. Okay. Terretta, Landon, any further questions or comments?
I'm good.
Terretta, Landon, any further questions or comments?
I'm good, to be honest. I'm just full, I just love it. I can't wait to see the big things, the bigger things that you'll be doing down the road. I'm just excited for your journey, both of you, your family. I just keep doing what you're doing because you got my vote. Trust it.
We appreciate
all. We for you.
Yep.
Yeah, I talk a lot about my wigs.
When I come to LA, you have to take me wig shopping.
Absolutely. And because I got to take you to a few restaurants too. Now I know food ain't as good out here as it is out in Atlanta, but you pretty much grew up in these parts, and we got to take you to a few places and hang out.
I would love that. I would love that. And you guys, I'm going to give a little ad real quick. My niece is one of the best bakers in LA, Cakes and Curls. It's on Van Ness in Manchester.
I know exactly where that's at, and I'll head that way. She's over there with not Krispy Kreme. It was another big bakery.
Oh, yeah. So that used to be on Manchester, but remember they had a place called Big Red's Fish or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
She's right over there.
Okay. Gotcha.
So follow her. She's not open, like she doesn't open the doors. Be quiet.
Okay, but can we use your name and get a discount?
Yeah. Cakes and Curls. Find her on Instagram. She's amazing.
Okay, will do.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, when we come down there, we can do a cake or something for the podcast.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna have some fun if you come out here.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Landon would take CJ because
Hey, let's go. Probably just started being around his mama all the time anyway.
I'll probably get lost in LA.
Yeah, but you'll find your way to a sport something or another.
Yeah.
Oh, Landon is not in LA?
No, I'm in Victorville, about 2 hours away from.
I know where that is.
Okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm trying to get closer, but not with the way the market is. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's crazy out here.
Yeah. So, Landon, any further questions or comments?
Questions, no, but just the closing. Like I am, like 100% like inspired to even like do some of the things that I was working on that I put on the back burner. Just listening to your story and listening to everything that you guys are involved in. So, I thank you for coming on and sharing, your journey of where you've been and what you've gone through and where you're at now and where you're going, because that has honestly motivated me, even aside from personal stuff and the work that I'm doing now. I feel more motivated to do a better job. Not saying I'm not doing a good job, but even just being better in what I'm doing now for the company that I'm working with. So, no, I am grateful that, you guys took the time to come on and share your story. And I definitely look forward to reconnecting again in the future. So,
Yeah, we are so happy to be here. Just put if you just put 5 minutes into your passion or your craft every day, we are living proof that it can turn into something. Who would have thought, that here we are, we're celebrating 10 years next year. Although we did just get our 501c3 last year, because like I said, we didn't imagine that we were going to turn this into something. It was basically just to support our son, because kids who have undealt with emotions become adults, they become adults with emotions that they don't deal with. And that's why you have all these mass shootings and, things like that, and I made a commitment that I want my kids to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem, and so that's why I pour everything I have into my kids and making sure that my kids, realize how amazing and important they are and what they can contribute to the world. When we lost, even my baby I lost, I keep her alive. We light a candle, family time, light a candle, and we let it burn, until it burns out. And when it burns out, we're like, Carson got tired. Her name was Carson Angelica, and so we keep her spirit alive. When we lost CJ, I'm sorry.
wow.
When we lost Carson, yeah. When we Carson, we never thought, that we were going to. It was just, he used to be crying out in the street, in the woods, going back and forth. It was like God just made everything silent for a minute. I was going crazy. I couldn't find him. We used to live in the woods out in Charleston, South Carolina. My parents in Allendale, South Carolina. And it got really quiet. And I was like, where is my son? And then I heard, and I ran out and he was out there. And that's when I told my husband, I said, we have to do something to help CJ. CJ is in this, right? Just Googling death and all that. And so who would have thought just trying to come up with something to make him feel better would become a global movement to inspire other families, to turn their pain into purpose. Yep. So, whatever it is, I tell anybody, whatever it is that you want to do or you feel passionate about, just put a little time into it every day. And then it will become what it's supposed. Not only want to say what you want it to be, it will become what it is supposed to be.
Right.
And this is where we are on purpose. Like, you keep saying, purpose. Purpose is the most important word in the language. Purpose, because without purpose, for what? Why?
Yep.
And that's all I have to say. I'm not gonna keep preaching.
We like it because I see Terretta. She want to jump up and say amen. I can see it in her face.
Wig might fall off and everything.
That's all right.
That is just so important, for kids and for everybody just to, realize why they're here. Everything has a larger it's bigger than us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think your words are very important, especially for the state of the world right now. I think a lot of people are like just lost, upset, angry. A lot of people may have abandoned some of the things they wanted to do because they may see there's no way to actually get to their dream, or, they're trying to find their purpose. So everything that you're saying is, spot on. And I do hope for whoever listens to this, find the inspiration and jump back into what it is that they want to do, because we don't know when our time is, going to be up. And as getting back to what you said about legacy, you want to leave something behind that could leave inspiration as well for other people too. So I totally agree with everything you said. I was feeling it in my soul when Terretta said, all right, now I was like, I feel it too, Terretta, I feel it too.
that one thing about people waiting. I was that person. I've always had inside of me who I am today, but I didn't let her out because, for one reason or the other, whether I felt insecure or I didn't feel, like anyone wanted to hear my voice, or, you know what I'm saying? I was that person, but to hear my voice, or, you know what I'm saying? I was that person, but now my purpose. Yeah. I'm going to keep talking.
You speak in truth, so it's fine with us because we love people that speak truth. So
so don't hold it in. When I finally started doing PR to help everybody else, my family's purpose I feel like it just blew up.
Yep. Terretta, I see you shaking your head.
One more thing, we wrote that book when CJ was 6. And last year I said, we're publishing this book this year. When we got our income tax check, I hired a publisher to actually put everything together for us, because I felt like I had never done it before. So I figured I would spend less money hiring somebody to do it and watch her do it, so that the next time I could do it myself if I needed to, But when I gave it to her and she sent it to her editor, the editor said, I don't see anything wrong with it. I wrote it when he was 6, but then last year before we gave it to the editor, I gave it to him and I said, put this in your words, so all the quotes that was CJ and everything, I let him add his pieces to it, and we put that book out, and I just feel so blessed that we did, because even though we haven't really promoted it yet, we have it. It's here.
You're right.
Don't hold on to your gifts. Your gifts are exactly what they are. They're gifts.
I believe it. Yeah, I totally agree. Yep. Terretta, I see you shaking your head. Go ahead.
All I can say is amen. Girl, that is just so true. I agree with everything you just said. So, oh yeah, amen. Landon?
I told you I'm good. I'm ready to log back in and start working.
That inspiration is making you ready to log back in and work. I love this conversation, and I love the inspiration that I'm feeling. But one thing I ain't gonna do is log back in and go back to
work. You need to be up on somebody's comedy stage.
I get told that all the time. But you know what? For me, I like laughter. I like people to just, because it breaks down barriers. you
Right.
know, and it allows us to communicate a lot more freer. So I use it as a tool to
Mhm.
bring out the best in people because I'm going to give my best. I want to draw the best out of people, you know, like what you and CJ and your family's doing. So,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I'm going to be quiet. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to get to know you
Mhm.
and to allow us to go on your journey with you. And that's all I have to say.
Mhm. And for me, I just appreciate having you and CJ on because I learned a lot. I learned, to stay on top of my dreams and my goals because I never know what's going to happen if I just keep putting it down and walking away from it. And to never think that no one wants to hear my story because you never know who needs to hear it. So I appreciate you guys being on because you reignited that spark for me. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes. When God say it's time, girl, you better be ready.
Yeah, yeah. I see it all the time of like just you know, having my own nonprofit where I could hand out, things for women that been through domestic violence, single moms, or people who are caregivers for people with Alzheimer's, things that I've been through. I definitely want to use those experiences to help other people because people feel like they're alone and they're not alone. We just don't know each other to know that is someone out there that's willing to help us and that cares. So I'm definitely going to get back on my grind after this. So thank you so much for the dose of inspiration and I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, email me whenever you need, if ever you need any creative information or just a little inspiration. I'm here for you. Let's have some sidebars sometime.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. I would appreciate that a lot.
Be careful what you ask for.
You know what, Landon? Go away, Landon. Go away.
We are each other's keepers. If ever you need anything, just let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. And
Well,
Landon, any
Y'all keep,
words?
y'all keep coming back to me. I told you what I'm about to do.
I
I'm
don't.
like, well, y'all hang up and let me get the looking at y'all like,
yeah, that's the look.
Mhm.
No, I'm good. Again, I am very appreciative and grateful for you guys coming on and sharing,
thank you
your
so
journey
much.
and allowing us to venture into a piece of your life in a very difficult time. So
Mhm.
no, I definitely thank you guys
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah. So, to everyone watching, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Corporate Rebel podcast. And we look forward to seeing you all again. Have a good one.